I'm here at Cherry Springs State Park in beautiful Potters County, Pennsylvania, August 21st, 2025. Doing a quick update for everybody on Cherry Springs State Park, known for its dark skies. Out here in the Susquehannock State Forest. Really beautiful environment out here. I've been coming out to this park for probably since 2011. So 13, 14 years, I'm guessing. And they made a lot of changes out here. A lot of development. Back when I first started coming out here, it was mostly just a field with a couple of electrical poles. And they really developed it and leaned into the dark sky attractions out here. So it was primarily used by very avid amateur astronomers. It's one of the darkest night sky locations east of the Mississippi that remain, and so it draws a lot of crowds from the East Coast and Midwest to come out here and enjoy the nighttime sky. And the part of the park that I'm walking through right now is the public side, and this is probably where the most development has occurred over the last couple of years. And it's really kind of focused on building up this side of the park so that people can come and go, the folks who are a little less avid about amateur astronomy, because on the other side of the field they've got heavy restrictions on light usage and coming and going. They close the gate at nighttime so people can't come and go, and over here it's a little bit more favorable. As you can see, they've got kind of lighted pylons in the parking lot, and it's geared a little bit more towards public use. But this is all new in the last couple of years. Looks like they're still working on a lot of it. At one point in time it was a airstrip, and that closed. And then they've slowly been turning it into more of an attraction. The park has got a lot of publicity, definitely over the last decade, and has really become a location for people to come and see the night sky with limited light pollution. We're out here in north central Pennsylvania. There's really not too much out here. At one point in time, this was logging country, and then kind of when all that industry went away, there's really not too much out here anymore. But it's a really great place for camping, outdoor activities. I think snowmobiling and four-wheeling is really popular out here in the winter and the summertime. Certainly I see a lot of signs that there's hunting that goes on here as well. But it's really picturesque. They call this God's country, and spending a little bit of time out here, I think you can see why. There's a new amphitheater that they have built out here for presentations and talks. But in the past times when I've been out here, this used to just be a big kind of degraded landing strip. It's just a lot of rotting away old tarmac, and then since has been looks like they kind of plowed that over and planted grass. You can see out here they've got probably 12 or so gray power stations for people to come over here with telescopes. But again, there's no, the light restrictions are less over here. So I think it's a little more catering to kind of the less serious observers. Really doesn't even look totally developed yet. I can't imagine setting up my telescope in the dirt amongst all these weeds here. But definitely they're working on it. I'm glad to see that they are developing this property so we can get some more attention to this wonderful hobby. Some nice wildflowers here. It's really picturesque. It's pretty cool for late August today, but you could feel it in the humidity. We had some rain last night. But weather report for tonight seems to be favorable for stargazing. So we're looking forward to some clearing up. A lot of times you'll get a nice clear sky after these low pressures comes through, and on the trailing end of them you get really nice clear skies. So that's what we're hoping for tonight. We'll see what happens. really special place to come visit if you're into astronomy or into just checking out the night sky. It's definitely darker than probably what most of the folks on this side of the country are used to seeing. I know out west the light pollution is much less out in the Great Plains and out in the deserts out west, but for us who live out this way, this is the best we're going to get. And it's only about 4.5 hours from Cleveland, so it's not too bad of a drive. Some things that are pretty cool out here when you're observing the night sky, you can definitely see the Milky Way from horizon to horizon on a clear night, which until I started coming out here, I'd never even seen the Milky Way. And that's a pretty special experience if you haven't had an opportunity to see it. You could see it at the club, my local astronomy club. You can definitely see it at our quasi-dark sky site about an hour and 15 minutes away from Cleveland. But it's mostly just like a hazy cloud in the sky. Not nearly as spectacular as you can see it out here. But you can also see M31, Andromeda Galaxy, naked eye, a lot of popular objects you can see naked eye, no problem. And it's really cool to just kind of get out here in the wilderness and somewhere that's really kind of catered to our hobby and what we do and welcomes us out here. You don't have to worry about people really bothering you because it's a really dedicated group of people that come out here. And so it's definitely something I enjoy doing. I try to come out here once or twice a year, and I have been since, like I said, around 2011 or 2012. And it's really changed a lot, but mostly for the good. I think anytime that we can get more attention to our hobby and get more people involved and aware of light pollution and what the night sky looks like when it's not degraded by human activity, I think that's good. I think trying to get folks aware of what you're able to see, how spectacular the universe can appear when you're observing from here on Earth, and you can see a lot of this stuff from right in your backyard. Well, figuratively speaking. So over here, this part of the park, you can see they've developed this area and built it up for tent camping, a little looser restrictions. There's, you see fire rings, and dumpster, picnic tables. So over on the astronomy side of the field, none of that is over there because it's really catering to dedicated amateur astronomers. It's a nice walk out here too. Probably about, I'd say 10 minutes down the road is another state park in Pennsylvania, focused mostly on camping. There's a dam there with a lake. It's called Lyman's Run. We go down there it's got a nice shower facility. When you've been up here for a couple days, you can get, especially when you're out all night, it's nice to get a hot shower after a chilly overnighter out here on the astronomy field. So that's a big plus. And that park is nice. The rangers out here are all very welcoming, and they're glad to have us out here because they obviously were bringing a lot of money and attention into the Pennsylvania park system. And it's a really nice experience. So if you haven't been out here yet at any point and you're relatively close, it's certainly worth the drive. A camping experience I would describe as, at least on the astronomy field, camping light. They've got gray power poles similar to the ones that I was showing you a few minutes ago throughout the field. Those are not for parking or hooking up RVs or campers. It's primarily for running an extension cord and charging your phone or charging your telescope, doing that sort of thing. But it's good setup over there. They keep it mowed and clean, and you'll see it in a minute. I'm going to head over that way in a second. I wanted to walk through this newly developed part over here. The park, they recently changed the entrance to the park. It used to be off of PA 44, which they've called the Highway to the Stars. They've since moved that part of the redevelopment over here. You used to enter in straight off of 44, and there's a little side road over here. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but they adjusted the entrance there. And part of it, I think it was a good thing, because the entrance used to, when people would come and go, you get a lot of stray light from people traveling down 44. I don't know who's driving on this mountain road in the middle of the night, but there was always seemed to be a lot of traffic at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning. Trucks driving by, and you're not quite sure why they're driving on this rural road up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. There's really not that much out here, and I can't imagine that that's a major route, but I do see a fair amount of traffic. Anyways, they closed the main entrance, that was the old entrance, and put up a fence, and I haven't been out here yet for a good evening, but I'm kind of hoping that with this new fence that it blocks a lot of that stray light coming up from the road. So the old entrance to the park, so as you can see, let's see if we can get a zoom in here. There's the road to Lyman Run State Park. It says 8 miles. Town of Gailton is out there too. 12 miles away. Gailton's a nice little quiet town up here. Gone out there for breakfast sometimes. I think there's a couple golf courses. There's one, I know one in the city of Coudersport. There's another golf course down in Gailton. So you can see here, this new section of fencing. That's the new fence on the way into the park. But they've relocated it, and we'll walk over that way so you can take a look and see. Part of this is I wanted to document the changes to the park over the last couple of years. It's really been, every time I've come out here for the last several years, it's dramatically different every time you come out, but this by far has been the most dramatic change that I've seen. And but another major thing that they did up here was they put in a new parking area. Some of my friends are showing up. Heard that the weather report was favorable for this evening, so we're hopefully going to have a good night out here. So here's kind of a panorama look around of the old location. These pine trees here, they planted to keep out a lot of the stray light from the road. They've largely been unsuccessful over the years. As you can see, they've really kind of dropped a lot of their needles, and so you get a lot of light coming in from people driving on the road. So we're walking down 44 north now, past the old entrance, the entrance to the new section, the new public section with this car pass. The entrance to the new section is up here on the east side of 44. We're going to come down here on the west side. You can see this Cherry Springs State Park sign has been here for quite a while, letting you know where you are. So I don't even see a name for this road anywhere. Coudersport, the city of Coudersport, 15 miles away. We go there to eat pretty much every day. There were a lot of good restaurants there. Got hit hard by the pandemic though, and many of our favorites have gone out of business, which is a real shame. We ran into this morning, we got another breakfast joint. There's this really cool breakfast joint called Fez's Diner, and went out of business in the pandemic for staffing shortages supposedly, but they had this really great breakfast, a thing called a pancake club sandwich. It was 3 10-inch pancakes, and layered between them were a layer of scrambled eggs and a layer of ham with frilly toothpicks in it to resemble a sandwich. It was cut into triangles. It's a really cool breakfast, but that joint has gone out of business. But we ran into one of our waitresses from back at Fez's Diner this morning. She's telling us how she was devastated when it closed, and it was good to see her again. When you come back here for so many years and kind of frequent the same joints over and over again, you get to know get to know the locals a little bit, and you could tell that she recognized us as soon as we pulled in. It was really nice to catch up with her for a little bit, but I think the pandemic has really kind of hit this area hard, even though 2025 kind of wrapped up a long time ago. But there's not a lot out here, and it's definitely has taken a toll on the local economy out here. A lot less to do, a lot less people to see. And it's disappointing in one regard. Some of our favorite places have closed, but I can also understand it, because there's really part of the reason that we like to come out here is because there's nothing to see, right? No light pollution is a result of not many people being around. And so on one hand, we're happy that it's not developing, but on the other hand, it's disappointing to see to see the local economy kind of fade out a little bit. Some of our favorite places closing up, because behind every one of those restaurants is a staff and people who need to work and are supporting the local economy. So we always enjoy coming out here and supporting the locals, but it's been kind of sad to see it fade, especially as you could tell up here, all of this development has been going on up here around this little bit of around this astronomy hobby. And so it's, on one hand, we're seeing a lot of growth and development, but on the other hand, a lot of the stuff that was here before is fading away. So it's kind of just another cycle of change. This place has seen lots of change before, back when it was logging country. It's going to see some more change again, I'm sure, like all of us. It's a common thread in life, but glad to see that they're keeping this part developed and that people keep coming out here. I hope we see more folks come out here. Makes me really happy that we have this available. As you can see up here, we're coming up to the astronomy observation field, permit required. So if you haven't been here before, it's an honor system that you pay. Drop your cash in the envelope. The rangers come around and check periodically. And red light restrictions, they close this big yellow gate here. It's closed at night. No one's allowed in or out. Not supposed to enter or exit your car because the lights go off. All lights have to have red cellophane or red tape, red paint over them, as to not ruin people's dark adaptation. And people adhere to that very strictly, because this part of the field over here is very dedicated for this hobby and the people who come here. Usually, for example, I come up here once or twice a year maybe, and it's really my best chance to sit back and enjoy the hobby. And when I come up here, I like to be with other people that honor that hobby, but also that respect other people and what they're here to do by not shining bright lights and using red lights and no green lasers to point things out. So this is the astronomy field. You can see peppered throughout our power stations. It's starting to fill up. We only had about 10 people out here last night, but it's cloudy and rainy, not too much going on. So it's good to got a lot of people showing up. When the weather report shows up, weather report is favorable. Place starts to pack in a little bit. They've got 2 big star parties out here a year. We are not here for that this year. I'm here just on a new moon weekend in August. And you could see how many people, today's a Thursday, and you can see how many people have shown up just for a new moon weekend out here. But during the star party, they got one in the springtime and one in the fall. The one in the spring is called Cherry Springs Star Party. The one in the fall is called Black Forest Star Party. That's coming up about a month from now. And they cap the registration for that at about 500 people. And during that event, this place fills up. There is no room for anybody. It is totally packed. And while I do appreciate coming up here when it's a little less busy, it's a little nice to be able to spread out a little bit and not have to worry about so many people. But on the other hand, it's a blast coming up here with 500 other people who are passionate about amateur astronomy and the night sky, getting to see their equipment and talk to them, and that's a lot of fun. I haven't been to one of those in a couple of years. I'd really like to try and make it back. So we're here at the back end of the field. What would this be? The far west end of the field. They got a pit latrine back here. There's a couple of nice little walking pads in the area that you can go onto. But as you can see back here, a lot of the big campers, RVs, tend to pile in towards the back of the field here so they don't obstruct the center of the field. Small campers and tents usually tend to go in the middle. And so this is the southern sky is up here with these big tall pine trees. And one of my favorite things up here, especially if you're coming up here late in the season, is up over these pine trees over here. If you're up till 3 or 4 or later in the morning, you get a lot of the winter constellations start coming up. It's a blast to see Orion start peeking up over those trees over there. Not used to observing that or anything that's in that area very often, simply because I don't go out very much in the Cleveland winter. And so getting out here in September or October and pulling an all-nighter and getting to see those, it's always very exciting, because those are objects that we don't get to dig around in too much. So with that, I think I'm gonna wrap up this video. Cherry Springs update, August 2025. If you enjoyed it and stuck around to the end, I'd like to remind you to like and subscribe for more content, and ring that bell so you're notified whenever I post something new. Helps out the channel a lot. I'm really glad that you tuned in. Farewell.